Welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to address a bunch of questions that I've been receiving here on my YouTube channel. One of my most popular videos is all about my tubal ligation reversal.
We're going under, and there's nothing we can do.
So I have a whole playlist and series of videos that I created a little over a year ago, sharing the whole process of how I decided to, well, when I got my tube size and how I decided to get the reversal surgery and wanted to have another baby. We have 4 kids and I was hoping for one more. So basically I changed my mind about how many kids I wanted, and I kind of gave an update on my podcast about how I feel as though I made a mistake overall about getting the tubal ligation reversal. And it's a tough thing to admit, but let me explain. First of all, many of you are, have been reaching out and having, have lots of questions about the whole process of the tubal ligation reversal. A lot of you wanted to know if I was able to conceive and who my doctor was, what the recovery was like, how much it cost. So I'm going to talk about all of that and also explain where I'm at right now as far as how I'm feeling and what we're doing in the moment. One of the most frequently asked questions is how much did it cost? It was pretty pricey, and yeah, it's a pretty expensive choice because there's no guarantee that it will work or that you will be able to get pregnant. So it is kind of a gamble. We paid $7,000 for the surgery, and which we felt like, okay, we're willing to take the risk of it possibly not working and possibly not getting pregnant.
The right side was much longer here, but because of that, they didn't leave much tube on the bottom end.
Oh.
And so I connected it, but again, this is the most important part. If this is cut down here, you can't reconnect it.
Yeah.
And so there was only so much to reconnect. I'll show you when we put it back together. This one, they left me much more on the left side. So this is the left one put back together. It is spilling dye. It's hard to see in this picture, but it was spilling dye. It's open. But the right one, again, because this is the fimbria, the dye just stayed in that lower part, meaning it's probably damaged from the burning and probably not going to work. But I couldn't go any lower because, again, that's the most important part, is the fimbria.
The alternative was to do in vitro, which was almost double the cost and a lot longer of a process. And then also there's no guarantee. So we just kind of took a gamble and decided, okay, we're just going to go for it and we're going to pay the money knowing that it might not work. We tried to get pregnant for about 8 months, and each month I got all excited and I felt like, yes, I really feel like I'm pregnant this time. And there was one month where I was like almost 2 weeks late for my period, which is so rare and like never happens to me. So I thought for sure I was pregnant. I even went and met up with my midwife and had a blood test, and I was sure that I was pregnant. And it was like right before Christmas, so I was so excited and I was planning it all out, the whole big reveal, and I was just so excited that I would be able to do it on Christmas morning. But yeah, I was disappointed to find out that I was not pregnant, but I still had hope that, okay, well, it's fine. I still have, I can still keep trying, and that doesn't mean I'll never have another baby. And so over time, over that period of 8 months, I just started to get to a place of acceptance of whatever the outcome would be. And so I stopped worrying so much about trying to get pregnant, and then eventually I even got to a place where I wasn't even sure that I wanted to get pregnant anymore. My youngest son is going into kindergarten next year, and I just kind of, things changed so much within 6 months. When your kids are little, 6 months makes a huge difference. And so within 6 months, I went from nursing my 3.5-year-old, my youngest, feeling as though he was still a baby, and nursing, extended nursing, that's a whole nother video. I actually did a video on that.
This is what it's like to nurse.
This is what it's like to nurse a 3-year-old.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was just like, yes, I can go from having a baby to having another baby, and it just felt like a smooth process. But then within that 6 months, and I wasn't nursing, and my youngest just grew up. Like 6 months is a huge difference in a child's life, and I just started to feel like, and suddenly we were able to do so many different things as a family, like more our vacations and trips just were so different. No more strollers, no more big car seats and playpens and diapers and all those things that I was so used to for the last 10 years of motherhood. We just always had a baby, so it was just like the norm to have a baby. But then suddenly it was the first time in my motherhood journey of not having a baby, and my kids were older and more self-sufficient, and we could do much more as a family, and it kind of got exciting, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is kind of nice. And I was just really enjoying it and appreciating it. And then I got to a point where I just was not really wanting to get pregnant anymore, and I feel horrible about the decision, mostly because I hate feeling as though I made a mistake getting my tubal ligation reversal, because it was so expensive, because it was about a 10-day recovery, and because I got everybody excited. You know, all the kids were excited, and I mean, they're fine. They haven't even asked me about it since then, so it's funny how kids are. They were all excited about it and looking forward to it, but they never really asked me about, when are you gonna have another baby? Are you pregnant? Like, they never really asked me. After like the first few months, they just kind of stopped. They never asked me anything about it, and still to this day, nobody's asked me, are we gonna have another baby? Are we gonna have a brother, sister? And so they're fine, the kids are fine, but I think I just feel a little shameful about making such a huge decision and then changing my mind about it. The only thing that makes me feel okay about it is the fact that I did give it about 8 months to, you know, we tried to conceive and I wasn't able to conceive, and then, like I said, things changed so drastically within 6 months, and I decided I no longer wanted to go back to the baby stage, and I was ready to transition into the next season of my life, the next chapter of motherhood. So that, I think, when it all comes down to it, now I can pinpoint exactly what caused me to make the decision in the first place to get my tubal ligation reversal. Because when I got my tubes tied, I was positive that I was done. I was like, okay, I am not gonna do this ever again. This is hard. You know, right when you're fresh in the thick of having babies and you just had a baby, you're still up all night with a newborn, it's a lot easier to make that decision to be done. You're like, okay, I am at my limit, I cannot do anymore. But then they get older, and then you start having these fears of, oh my gosh, I'm never gonna have another baby again. What if I regret not trying to have another baby? I don't want to have regrets 10 years from now. And so I realized that I made that decision to get the reversal based on fear. I was worried about regrets. I was worried about what the next chapter of motherhood was going to be like, and if I was going to enjoy it as much as I enjoyed having babies. Although it's hard having babies, I loved having babies. I loved nursing. Even the pregnancy at times was fun, but I don't love being pregnant. It's not my favorite. But, you know, I do have a lot of amazing, wonderful memories that, you know, it's easier to think about all those good things when you feel like it's coming to a close and you think, oh my gosh, you're trying to latch on to whatever you can to hold on to all the good parts of that chapter of your life. So that's my conclusion. I realized that I made that decision because of fear. And so if I could offer any of you advice, I know a lot of you have reached out to me, and you're just, I know that emotion you're feeling. You're like, I regret getting my tubes tied. I want another baby. And, you know, there were a lot of you that were really young when you got your tubes tied and you only had one child. And so I can totally understand you feeling more so like you made a mistake. But I think I would just say trust your choice, whatever it may be. I'm not saying there's a right or wrong choice when it comes to having another baby, or you feel like you made a mistake getting your tubes tied. You were young, you didn't, things change. Like I said, things change so much, even within just 6 months. So don't beat yourself up over making mistakes, even if it's something that you can't really reverse. Just trust that everything in your life is happening exactly the way it's supposed to be. I know you might think that either having another baby might make you feel some sort of emotion, that you're seeking some more fulfillment, to be able to wash away any regret you have. Do you think that by having another baby you're going to be able to feel a certain way, or fill a certain void? Just make sure you ask yourself those questions and get clear on what are your intentions. Is your intention to follow your intuition, or are you making the decision based on fear? Are you worried that you might have regrets? Are you worried that the door is closing? Are you worried that even if you do choose to have the tubal ligation reversal, it's important that you get to a place of just acceptance, because you have no control over whether or not it will work or whether or not you will have another baby. The only thing that you can control is the thoughts that you choose to think about having another baby or not having another baby. That is my biggest piece of advice that I would offer all of you who are struggling with these emotions, hoping for another baby, worried that it might not work, worried that you might be too old to have another baby. There's just so many different things that we can worry about, but it's important for you to really analyze those thoughts and get clear on what it is that you're hoping for. And I know that most of us, all we really want is to feel fulfillment, happiness, and without any regrets. And so I know that that is just one of the biggest driving forces when it comes to making this decision. You don't want to pass up the opportunity to reverse a choice that you feel was a mistake in the first place. We are all getting older, and I know that many women struggle with the transition of aging to that new stage where you are no longer able to have children. That is kind of a sad reality, but it doesn't have to be a sad reality. That's my point, is it all depends on what your thoughts are. And if you are choosing to think positive thoughts around whatever the outcome may be, then you will be happy now, not happy once you have the baby. You can choose to be happy right now. Allow whatever is going to happen to happen. So don't beat yourself up over your choice that you made 5-10 years ago. Don't beat yourself up. Just accept the choice that you made. If you do choose to get the reversal, just be happy and content with your choice, even if you don't end up getting pregnant. And also just trust that whatever happens is going to happen exactly the way it's supposed to. So if you do get pregnant, awesome. If you don't, awesome. It does not matter either way. The only thing that matters is the thoughts that you decide to think about the circumstance.